Hi, it's Chris Adkins and Trystan King, and this is Market Minute with Chris and Trystan. And today's episode is how things changed in the real estate market in the wake of COVID-19. Chris Adkins, mortgage broker with TMG, the mortgage group, and I'm joined here with Trystan King, realtor at Stonehaus Realty Corp, part of Adam Lloyd's home selling team. Trystan, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Going well. Things are going well. Good
Thanks
to
for
see
having me.
you.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
So why don't we start with you? Why don't we let me know, because you kind of represent two sides, you're a buyer agent, but you're also a listing agent. So why don't you walk me through how things have changed for you? Like how's your protocol changed with respect to respecting social distancing and of course cleanliness and everything
Definitely.
with it? Yeah.
Definitely. So I'll take you right from the very, very start of when I do meet a client. Obviously, I do have clients that we had to change things very quickly. But now at least the way that we would say work with buyers and sellers, again, like you said, it has changed a lot. I do believe kind of what we're doing right now is we're just trying to make it as digital as possible. That starts from the very beginning. If I contact a seller looking to potentially sell their home, we now do virtual listing appointments. So just like you and I are over Zoom right now, my team and I offer this to all prospective sellers out there. With buyers, kind of doing a needs analysis, putting a face to the name. Real estate, it still is a very social business. So I'm huge on video. I have Bomb. I like doing videos. I like doing this stuff. So I like to meet kind of people face to face, give them that sort of social interaction. But we are still respecting social distancing in that way. So just sort of finding out their needs. I mean, to go into sellers, say the listings that I have right now, my brokerage was actually nice enough to create a COVID-19 showing waiver. In this waiver, basically just a number of questions. Have you traveled outside the country in the last 2 weeks? Have you been in contact with anyone who's traveled outside the country in the last 2 weeks? Do you have any symptoms? Basically, they have to tick and name, signature, date. That's handed to me. I keep all those recordings, and it's mandatory actually before they view any of my clients' homes. To go into, say, once that is all being completed, I typically show up to the listing even earlier than, say, I would have in the past. I make sure we turn on absolutely everything. I make sure that doors are, say, open. It's very functional in and out. I do request actually that the listing agent and the buyer, or sorry, no, the buying agent and the buyers, they actually don't touch anything. Now, if they needed anything moved or cabinets opened or whatever it is, I request that I do it. When I am there, at least, I do have gloves, a mask, hand sanitizer, and disinfectant wipes. So, say anywhere where anyone could possibly touch, I make sure that I wipe it down before we leave. I make sure that I am definitely keeping the risk as minimal as possible. Basically, with buyers now, that sort of changes as well. I mean, obviously, I'm going to have, say, gloves, mask, disinfectant wipes, and hand sanitizer once again, but it's sort of up to the listing agent on how they want to proceed with the showing. Most times, they do give me these COVID-19 waivers to fill out on my buyer's end. I send them back to them. And as we go through, if the listing agent allows me to sort of show the property, the same thing as I would do with the seller. I go in, I make sure that my clients don't touch anything. I make sure that I'm opening up, say, all doors and all that, just to limit risk as much as possible. And you know what, on the buyer end, this is sort of something that I actually have changed in my business as well quite a bit is, I got into real estate. I love residential real estate because it is more of an emotional purpose or emotional purchase. I love it when you say have a family and you're walking into a home and they see this is going to be the place, say, where they raise their kids or whatever it is. So say with those families, obviously schools would be important to them in a school district. So I make sure that I hand off a full report, all the schools sort of in the area, basically making sure that that we're only visiting properties that my clients already are very aware of, sort of that check off all their other boxes. And another thing too, this is a big trend that that I do think we will see moving forward here in the real estate market. I love doing listing videos, but that's sort of somewhat of a thing of the past. Right now, on all of our listings sort of coming up, we're making sure that we're doing 3D virtual tours. These things are pretty crazy, honestly. You click on the tour, You go in, use your mouse to almost walk in the home. You can sort of do like a 360-degree or 360-degree like turn around, looking around sort of at the space. Everything is scaled perfectly, so it really feels like you are in the home. So, you know, on all of our listings, I make sure all the prospective buyers have this before entering the home. On the buy side, I do some digging. I try to find this if my clients haven't already. Pass that off to them, just so we're making sure that we're only viewing the properties sort of that would be appealing to them to purchase, you know, because I only think that serious buyers right now are purchasing. So how's it sort of changed on your end though?
Well, it's good you talked about digital, because that's really what we've changed. Like, so myself and my team, we were already transitioning into a more of a digital experience, and all of this has really done is expedite that process for us. So with respect to the digital experience, we have an online application that once completed, it's tied into our CRM that once it's completed, our clients are going to be prompted to provide their documents to us, the relevant documents to their application, but provide it to us in a secure portal so that we're not exchanging information like paper copies. We're not exchanging anything um, with respect to requiring us to be physically in front of them, but we're also not exchanging sensitive information over email either. So we have that already part of our system, and we're just really promoting it more and more, so that clients can share their information securely. But when it comes to what information they're sharing, the most important aspect that's changed is income. Because of the CERB and because of EI being way more prevalent now, and really accommodating clients' lack of job or job loss here, that's something that the lenders have changed on their policies to require all income documents up front. Now, they're not using CERB, they're not using EI, they're not using employment insurance income or the relief benefit from the Canadian government as income. So instead of providing an approval based on the merits and the information that we share with the lender and taking it at our word, all lenders are requiring that that income information is provided, verified, and confirmed up front before they move along the file next down to the next stage. So that makes a lot of sense here, and I'm happy that we have a system that accommodates that, so that we can go phone call to funding and every stage in between without having to experience that in person, or without having to compromise the social distancing protocol. So
Mhm.
like you, I'll jump on a Zoom call, and I'll include any sort of tutorials with a Zoom call to my clients, so that we can have that kind of real life experience without being in each other's homes or in the same space. But from phone call to funding and every step in between can all be handled and experienced with myself and my team digitally. And when I talk about phone call to funding, and every step in between, one of those steps in between is appraisals, and those have definitely shifted now because of COVID-19. A lot of people, as you can well imagine, are not comfortable having somebody physically walk into their space and take 15 minutes of time to take a few photos and then return back to their office to complete their report. Now, a lot of lenders and appraisal companies, especially ones we line ourselves up with, have adopted and updated their policies to accommodate a more digital hands-off experience. So that includes things like a FaceTime real-time walkthrough of the property for the benefit of the appraiser, or timestamp photos of every room in their home, again, shared directly with the appraiser. So that's one aspect here. And then when it comes to funding, which is of course the final step for a transaction that involves a realtor and a mortgage broker, the final step involves a lawyer or a notary, and that's the actual physical signing of a notarized document, or a document witnessed by a lawyer or a notary. That is quickly evolving to a more digital experience as well. I've received an email yesterday, in fact, of one of a more prominent law firm in the Lower Mainland, who has a lot of offices in the Lower Mainland to accommodate different areas and different suburbs and different cities. But he's actually added a 19th office, which is his digital office, where he would send paperwork, or his office would send paperwork over to the client in advance. They will print it off and be ready to sign, and then they'll jump in on a Zoom call as well, and witness in real time with their own eyes the actual signing of the paperwork and confirm identity and make sure that everything's verified and confirmed as if they were face to face inside the office. So that's kind of a cool thing that we're seeing is a lot of people, a lot of different, like whether it's a law firm or an appraisal company, more and more there's shifts in policies and updates in policies to accommodate and respect the social distancing protocol.
Definitely. No, that's great. And, you know, going kind of into what you're saying with there with the appraisals, I mean, you and I both know that, say, some appraisals or appraisers will need to actually access the property. And at least on the real estate side, I mean, because I have sort of seen this here in the last little bit, on the real estate side, one way that we can limit contact as much as possible is realtors actually have this thing called lock boxes. And we can leave a lockbox somewhere, say, outside the front door, wherever it is. They're super, super secure. We use them in sort of everyday business anyways. And we can actually give them a 1-day code. You know, we request that they wear a mask, gloves, have hand sanitizer, all that stuff. They go up, they do what they need to do, and they leave. And it's just sort of another way that we can limit the risk as much as possible.
Well, that's good. I'm happy to see you lining up and making those accommodating for your clients and adapting and adopting new protocols and policies on your end as well. It's really reassuring for myself and any of my clients that you got that handled when it comes to being a listing agent or being a buying agent. It sounds like you've got everything in control and under control there, Trystan.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, just like you, we definitely learned very quickly how to sort of adapt, you know. So you were sort of saying it was in the works, and all of a sudden it's in high gear right away, right? So it's good though.
Well, that's good. No, I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate your time here. And we're going to continue doing this next week. And episode 2, we're going to talk about mindset. You know, when the market and the media is spouting enough like doom and gloom, you know, the media, like the news and the noise out there is all doom and gloom. We're obviously having to accommodate a different reality, and we're having to adjust to a different reality now. And part of that is routine. Like routine has changed. How are we accommodating that? How are we changing? How are we adapting? Right. And one of the things that we might have to tap into more is developing and upholding a higher standard when it comes to our own mental health, right? And making sure that we're not leaving that by the wayside as well. So we're going to talk next week about mindset and what we're doing, you and I, on developing and maintaining a strong mindset.
You bet. It's definitely a work in progress. So we'll have new material, like you said there, for next week.
Okay, we'll continue working on it and continue to evolve here, my friend, and we'll talk next week.
Sounds good. Chat then.
Take care.